The air inside the drinking hole was thick with low smoke, sweat, and alcohol fumes. More than that, it was thick with the stench of heresy. Wherever Thaddeus looked, he saw miscreants, Xenos scum, and blasphemers against the God Emperor. Revelry not in celebration of the God Emperor's victories was an affront to the sacrifices of the Throne Lord, and there was much revelry amid the stink of Luther's den. His arrival did not go unmarked. Chairs scraped across the bare boards of the floor, and conversations faltered into silence. From behind a bar of stacked ammunition crates, the vendor scowled. The skinny, scar-faced man reached behind the improvised counter, no doubt for a weapon. Elsewhere, blades slid from sheaths, power cells whined on activation, and several auto weapons clicked and crunched as hammers were drawn back and safeties released. The reassuring buzz of Thaddeus's servo stubber sounded close to his right ear as the self-determining anti-grav skull ascended into view. As it steadily panned back and forth, the barrel of its gun tracked slowly across the denizens of the establishment, red targeting beams pulsing from its eye sockets. "This ain't your pulpit, ecclesiarchy man," growled a treasure hunter leaning on the bar, her face half hidden beneath the broad brim of her hat. One hand held a small glass of yellow liquid, the other was hooked into her belt, close to a holstered las pistol. Hostile eyes regarded the preacher from all directions, many human, some insectoid, one pair just points of ochre light.
"I'm not here to preach,"
Thaddeus replied, his gaze scanning the room. He smothered his hands down the front of his vestments, wiping away the settling dust and ash of the drinking hole. "Everyone can relax," said a rakish man from the far corner, his chair leaning back against the wall, booted feet on the tabletop before him. His garb was of an imperial noble, frock coat and mock military stylings. The hide of a Xenos beast trailed across his shoulders. A neatly trimmed moustache and oiled hair completed an image of privilege at odds with the unwashed and unkept denizens that made up the remaining patrons. Almost unseen, he held a long-barreled dueling pistol in his lap, its muzzle pointing towards the barman. "No trouble. Not in my cantina," the man said, placing both his hands back on the counter, empty. The servo stubber lowered, its eyes returning to their dark green dormant state. A few patrons remained with weapons directed at the newcomer. "And a round of drinks on my tab," Drake declared. Eyes followed Thaddeus as he weaved through the close tables, but the low conversations, glug of drinks poured and clink of glasses slowly resumed as he reached the chair opposite Janus Drake, the rogue trader he had come to meet. Drake dragged his feet from the table and invited Thaddeus to sit with a glance. The rogue trader pushed a glass towards the priest and lifted a clay jug in offer. Thaddeus's lip curled in reply. "It's water," said Drake, topping up his own glass. "Fresh, not filtered. A shipment arrived this morning, nearly 2,000 pints.
"It is still a luxury, a weakness,"
said Thaddeus, though his tongue could almost taste the untainted liquid, free from the acrid hint of recycling that marred all the water piped through the chambers of Precipice. "Perhaps you could bless some of the filtered water. Make it taste good," said Drake with a half smile. "You call yourself the Purifier, yes?" Thaddeus sat down and did not dignify the poor joke with a reply. "Not the talkative type, I see," the rogue trader continued, assuming a more businesslike air. "Fair enough. I can appreciate that."
"Your missive said that you needed my assistance."
"It did, and I do." Drake leaned closer, voice dropping to a conspiratorial level, his eyes darting to the left and right before he continued. I have pieced together one of the routes to the hidden vault we are all seeking.
Speak for yourself. I seek the Emperor's truth.
Then why are you on precipice, hanging around as welcome as Ogrin flatulence? I have watched you trying to get to the Blackstone fortress, and failing. Now is your chance. With me.
Let's assume I'll indulge you, Drake. What are you suggesting?
I have coordinates and guidance logs for the maglev transporters that will take us to somewhere called... well, it is called the Death Maze. Not inviting, I know. Some have reached it before in their attempts to find a way through to the next ring of vault defenses.
They failed?
Well, none have returned, so I would wager they died. Drake fixed his eyes on Thaddeus. I need an extra pair of eyes and hands on this venture.
You have been here longer than many others, and you must have made all kinds of acquaintances. Why do you need me for this particular expedition?
I trust you, Thaddeus. There's only a handful of others I trust, and one of them was injured as we acquired this new data. But I cannot wait for them to recuperate in case there is some change in the Blackstone Fortress's layout. The maglev system can handle 4 people at most, so I find myself with an opening, and you have an opportunity. Precipice is full of vagabonds and scum, and you might name me among them. But you are different, I think. Courageous and determined. Not the sort to be dissuaded by a dangerous foe. A man of the Emperor, guided by his divine light. You think I have wandered from the righteous path? But I assure you that I have always kept it in sight, even as I have meandered a little from its straight course. I want to help you do the Emperor's work, while you help me solve the riddles of this terrible but intriguing place. The rogue trader's words were as worthless as anyone else's, but there was a singular fact that could not be ignored. No others had yet been willing to accompany Thaddeus into the depths of the Blackstone fortress. It was too daunting a task for just the Purifier and his aide Vaughn. Suicide, in fact, to progress any degree into the mysteries of the alien station without more companions. He had to believe the God Emperor had led him to this corruption for a reason, and not simply to cleanse it. He saw again the truth in the flames, the images that the God Emperor had sent to him in the dance of the holy fires. He had heard of the alien station from the gossiping lips of a naval rating. But it was in the flames that had purified the impenitent man shortly after that he had truly seen the will of the God Emperor. A galaxy aflame with the righteous fires, with Thaddeus as the spark that would light the pyre across the stars. The Blackstone Fortress was a gift. Its secrets could not fall into the hands of aliens and heretics before the faithful had uncovered them.
These others that you trust.
The priest looked around the drinking hole.
Who will also be going with us?
Does it matter? Drake asked sharply. If you have been given sight of your prize, would you turn away from it if the surrounding view was not to your liking? Or would you grasp it with both hands? The rogue trader was dissembling, but his point was valid. The unavoidable need for allies left Thaddeus with few options. None, in fact.
We have concord,
said Thaddeus.
I will bring the Clarion to the Stygian aperture and rendezvous with you.
Drake's hand slid across the table and left a small crystal in front of the priest. We cannot enter by the Stygian aperture, not this time. My last expedition uncovered a smaller entry point, hidden in the scan shadow of the furthest arm of the Blackstone Fortress. I have calculated a flight path that will get you there undetected by those who would steal our claim. The details are embedded in this crystal. Thaddeus took up the crystal and stood. Drake did likewise, and extended a hand to seal the pact between them. The purifier took it in his strong grip, and did not let go when the rogue trader tried to pull his hand back.
We are allies, not friends,
Thaddeus told the rogue trader, dragging him a little closer, his gaze burning into the other man's eyes.
But it is not my judgment that should concern you. For when you perish, you must answer to the God Emperor for your deeds and misdeeds.
Drake tore his hand away with a sour look. Thaddeus thrust the data crystal into a hidden pocket within his cassock and stalked away.